Right. Hello, Gail. Hello, Dimitri. Well, thank you ever so much for joining us and sharing your project, because you've actually gone for external roof blinds, the Artemis system. So, I'm sure other listeners will really be intrigued to hear your journey and why you chose those options. Can I ask you to cast your mind back right to when the build was just a figment of your imagination and what you were trying to do to your home?
Basically, we wanted to extend our house outwards. With the new planning regulations changed, we could add on a good size extension, and we decided to go for all glass windows on two sides or three sides of the building, extending out, as well as a large rectangular roof light, because I wanted the light coming into the room as well. And that was done back in 2015. We completed the building, but we lived with it all this time with some external shading for the windows all the way around, but we hadn't appreciated how much heat and sunshine would be coming in all the time. And it took us a little while to actually work out what we wanted. We knew we didn't want internal blinds, which were a basic option. We wanted something that would, one, keep the heat out, but two, still allow the light to come through, to filter through. So it wasn't a blackout blind, it was a filtered light and blind, but externally, which would then keep the heat out.
Right. So you looked at internal blinds and then decided that's not for you.
It was just going to be too messy.
That was the aesthetics then, Gail and Dimitri.
For me, yes, it was the aesthetics. I didn't want to see strings across the roof light or anything like that. So for me, it was just, that wasn't an option. So we had to look at something else that would work well for us.
And also when we took a little bit of advice, some including from you when we started talking about it, the internal blinds would be as effective in solving the main problem we had, which was heat, not light, because the heat would already come into the house, and then obviously you'd protect yourself a little bit, but not as effectively as if you had external blinds.
Well, so you were very well researched, in fact, because yes, so a grey internal blind, for those listening, would probably reject about 15% of the heat through a roof light or roof lantern. A high-performing technical fabric internally get up to about 50%, but what you've got can get over 90% of the heat rejected.
Mm-hmm. And it has made a huge difference. And we also chose to go for the automatic option, which means that if we're out and the sun comes out, we come back into a room that is cooler than it ever used to be. Whereas before we'd have to open up all the doors and let the heat out. Now we have it with a sensor that will close it to stop the sun from coming in and open when the sun disappears on its own. So it works really well for us.
So that's the light sensor technology, I understand.
Light, and there's wind, so that if the wind picks up, it will automatically close it, so it's not damaged in any way, which is also very important.
Fantastic.
I was going to say that although one might be concerned about all this automation, so far we've seen it working very effectively. And of course, you can override it. So if we go away for a holiday and we are concerned about, say, a power cut, leaving it halfway through or whatever, you can always override the automatic and leave it in a manual setting. So we've been very happy with the automatic setting.
Yes, and I understand. Because you're going to show the blinds later and you've had to change it to the manual setting to override the sun, because the sun isn't shining today, is it?
Sadly, we can't show it in its element because it's a grey, miserable day today, but never mind it. We can show you just the difference in the light with it coming over on a grey day, how much it filters out the light.
And how did you find Window Treat?
As a company?
Yeah, where did you discover us?
A recommendation from a builder, actually. He suggested we looked into your company and see what you had to offer. You came back quickly, and we decided that We liked the way you worked. We ended up with the installers being a really nice father and son team who couldn't have done more for us. Really nice guys that came out, polite, and no, they were very good, efficient.
We looked into a couple of other companies, but when, as Gail said, we were recommended by a very close friend who's a builder, and we also made contact with you. In the end, we thought you had a very good set of products, and as Gail said, when the service came, that was also excellent.
Thank you. So in short, you've experienced our Indian summer, I presume, with the blind in place.
Absolutely. And until yesterday, in fact, it was we were using them, or they were working efficiently. So no, it's been very, very, very helpful. Very, very. I'm really pleased that we've got it now, and wish we'd done it sooner.
And many customers, like you, Gail, at the beginning, you said you didn't want to see cords, you didn't want to see potentially lots of hardware internally, but you're worried about the aesthetic. Can you describe the aesthetic you've now got? Because and how much you see the blind from indoors when it's retracted?
I guess what you're looking up at is, it looks, if you look closely, like a mesh going over, but it rolls. It has rollers that are fitted on both sides, and it just rolls up over the window and rests at the other side. But you don't see internally, when you look up, you can't see any of the equipment at all. All you see when the machine opens and the blind comes out is, I suppose, a bit like a mesh going over the top, but you become oblivious to it. It becomes just part of the roof light. It's not an eyesore at all. It's there.
So those,
and the fact you don't see any of the equipment, you hear it as it comes up and out of the casing that it's in, and then it covers the whole of the window.
Well, thank you for that. And before I ask you to show our listeners and viewers what it looks like, can I just ask a final question? Would you recommend Window Treat to friends and family?
Oh, 100%, yes.
Yes.
Definitely.
Oh, that's music to my ears. Thank you.
Do you want to see the blind now?
We'd love to.
Okay. So I'll turn the camera. You can see the roof light. That's it.
So we're a little bit darker now, before and after.
But that does show how minimalist it appears. And yes, there's no other solution that rejects more of the heat that's out there. It's outstanding. No, thank you again. That's a lovely overview of your project, and thanks for all your very kind feedback.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.